Hey there, welcome back to another review, this time of the 1988 film Cellar Dweller. This is a film that was requested by Adam Watson a while back, and I've had this set for a while. It's a 4-pack, it's on 2 discs, it's got Cellar Dweller, The Dungeon Master, Contamination Point 7, aka The Crawlers, and Catacombs. And Cellar Dweller is the only one that I've watched from this set. And it was a time waster for me at best. I mean, I didn't mind it, but at the same time, I would be lying if I said like I'd watch this again. Well, I mean, I can watch it again. It's not something that I'm gonna go right out and grab, and I wouldn't really call it underrated or anything. Um, I like the concept of it, of this artist who draws this creature, this monster, and it comes to life. But I've seen that done better in a Tales from the Crypt episode called Corman's Calamity with Harry Anderson. And to be honest, yeah, this feels like an EC Comics adaptation. It does. It feels like a Tales from the Crypt segment. But the thing is, it's too long. It's 78 minutes, and it should be only like 20, 30 minutes long. There's not enough to this story to make it a feature film, to make it feature length. So that's why at best it's just okay to me. It's directed by John Carl Buechler, who is well known for doing a lot of effects for Full Moon films and these other Empire Pictures productions. This is an Empire Pictures production. As far as I know, it did not get a theatrical release. And it's based on a screenplay by Don Mancini. Yeah, the same Don Mancini who helped write Child's Play. He wrote Child's Play 2 and 3. He's also responsible for writing the worst Child's Play movies. He's like responsible for both the good and the bad of the Child's Play franchise. One thing I don't like hearing him say is that he's the creator of Child's Play, and he's the guy who created this, and he's the creator of Chucky, and he's the one who's responsible for, maybe he did create Chucky, but he's taken too much credit for the success of the Child's Play franchise, especially the first movie, because John Laffey and Tom Holland did a lot of rewrites, and they're honestly the biggest reason why that film was as successful as it was, and why it's such a classic. Not Don Mancini, because his original script was a piece of shit. It was a shitty script, and it needed extensive rewrites. And it was, speaking of, this script, it's full of a lot of padding. It's not really the best, and apparently Don Mancini wasn't confident in putting his name on it because he listed himself. He wrote this under a pseudonym of Kit Dubois. So he was like, I'm Cellar Dweller. I don't want my name on that. So that's saying something. It stars Yvonne De Carlo as Miss Briggs. You might recognize her. She's been in, I think she's well known for doing classic movies. She playing Lily Munster in The Munsters. That's one of the main things she's well known for, is playing Lily Munster. And you also have Jeffery Combs in this, who plays Colin Childress, who is the original creator of this Cellar Dweller comic, which is absolutely just EC Comics. It's Tales from the Crypt, but if it was just like a monster instead of like the Crypt Keeper. And it was just all about the monster and what the monster does and how, and the type of horror it creates. That's one part about the film I did like. There's some things I liked about it. That's why I thought it was a time waster. I thought it was okay because I liked the idea. I liked the concept, even though Corman's Calamity did it better. But I still liked it nonetheless. I love the transitions that it has, where it transitions from, it has these comic book style transitions in the movie that are really inspired by EC Comics. I really liked that. That was a lot of fun. And there are some I like Debrah Farentino's character, Whitney Taylor. She was a big fan of Colin Childress, who's played by Jeffrey Combs. He's only in it in a brief cameo role, like in the first few minutes or so, and then he dies because his character, and I guess he's inspired to create this Cellar Dweller monster for his comic, and he goes one step too far and borrows this pentagram symbol from this Necronomicon type book that he somehow, for some reason, has in his possession. And then he ends up putting the symbols on the paper, and it brings the monster to life. And in order to stop it from killing any more people, and in order to, hold it at bay, he lights the paper pages on fire and ultimately kills himself. So then the film flashes forward many years later, and now this is some studio for the other artists. And Whitney Taylor's, who is a huge fan of the Cellar Dweller comics and of Cohen Childress, she becomes an intern there, and she starts working on artwork, and she starts doing her own Cellar Dweller artwork. And then she too makes the same mistake and finds the book, and then copies the pentagram symbol onto the drawing and the little, symbols, the other symbols, just, that are sort of like a spell or something, brings the monster to life. And so the monster goes around and kills people. Because of just, just a creature feature. It's definitely a low budget, you can tell. But the creature feature, the creature effects were decent for a low budget. It looked like one big giant hairy ghoulie, though. It wasn't really that scary looking. There's not much in terms of gore. There's a little bit. I mean, there's some blood that splatters. The monster would be chewing on somebody's eyeball or whatever, or chewing on somebody's feet or their legs or whatever. But the goriest moment in the movie is admittedly a really good head rip sequence where the monster rips off this guy's head. And that's a really well done practical effect. But other than that, it's not really that much in terms of the gore department. The characters, other than the lead girl, aren't really that interesting. You got Brian Robbins, who would go on to change his name. He would change his name to Brian Levine and direct shit like The Shaggy Dog and 1,000 Words and Norbit and Meet Dave. Yeah, the director of all those movies plays the male lead. He's like a poor man's Pauly Shore. It's just really pathetic. And there's other actors like Vince Edwards, Miranda Wilson, Pamela Bellwood. One of these actresses, she like does this really strange. This is what I mean by padding the running time. There's a whole section of this film devoted to this character doing this really bad spoken word, no, this really bad interpretive dance, like really horrible interpretive dance scene, and it takes up like 3 minutes of the movie. Then the movie's only 77 minutes. It's full of so much padding. And then it doesn't help either that it has an ending that it honestly sucks. It's this pretty shitty ending. Because, and it doesn't make the lead look very smart. So she figures out what she needs to do to bring back her friends, and also the people she doesn't like. Like this bitch coworker that she's been working with, who's kind of I think it's a Pamela Bellwood, Amanda. She's her rival, and she's an ass. She's a total ass, and she was, I think, the first one that the monster killed. And how she died is whatever Debrah Farentino would draw, it would actually happen in real life, which is why it totally reminds me of Corman's Calamity. And so the monster, she figured out, okay, I don't want these people to be dead, because the monster actually went in and actually killed her boyfriend, or the guy that she had a crush on, Philip, played by Brian Robbins. So she ended up coming up with a clever way to bring them back. She ended up creating artwork of them all and brought them back to life, and chained the monster up. But when she realized, okay, now I need to kill the monster. The only way I can do that is to burn the artwork. And so she does that, and in doing so, she, like a dumbass, apparently throws in all the other drawings of the people that she brought back to life into the burn barrel. And when she burns them, well, the people that she were brought back to life start burning too, including her boyfriend, who just goes like, ah, ah, ah! It's just burning, and you're just like, wow. And she's going, oh my God, Philip, no! And I'm just like, You dumb bitch. Seriously, what are you doing? Like, you should have known that was going to happen. But then again, it's like, it's inevitable. This type of ending was inevitable anyway, because there was pictures, any picture that she drew that had Philip in it, and the monster was going to have to be burned. And so when she burned the picture that the monster helped create of Philip getting killed by the monster, she killed Philip again. And then the movie ends with this just cop-out ending where it's like the monster, you think it burns up and it's going to go away. And then the monster's all like, this is a direct quote from the movie as well. Because apparently this woman, she deserved her comeuppance or something. It didn't really work to me because there's no build up to it. There was no comeuppance. This wasn't you learned your lesson the hard way type of horror story. That's not really what it was. At least that's not how I interpreted it. And so this monster, she thinks she kills it, and in doing so, she's also burned all of the people that she worked with, and burned them too, and killed them again for the second time. And the creature then comes back and is like, wherever there is imagination, I will dwell. And then like the movie ends, and then you're like, okay, so this is kind of pointless. The monster's still alive. It didn't do anything. So why did the monster just come back? Why did she have to grab the book and do the drawing and do the same thing that Jeffery Combs did in the first part of the movie in order for it to come back? If wherever there is imagination, I will dwell. Well, we should have just come back anyway before. I mean, it's like they ran out of money, ran out of ideas. The movie just ends abruptly. It's just like, and that's one of the reasons why it's just a time waster for me. I mean, it's pretty short. It's 77 minutes. There's some decent bits of gore. Yeah, I can have some fun with it, as well as the concept. It was kind of fun to see the room where she was working in, one of the first offices that Debrah Farentino's character was working in, and she was working in this office that had all these different posters from Empire Pictures movies. So you had like a poster for Ghost Town in the background and stuff. That was pretty fun. But at the same time, it just reminded me of a much better movie, Ghost Town. But yeah, it's decent, I guess. It's a time waster, but it could have been more, and it could have had more gore, and it could have had a better ending. The ending just felt like it's one of those just desserts type endings, but unlike those other type of stories in EC Comics and in Creepshow, the film didn't really earn it. So yeah, I don't know really what else to say about the movie, other than if I was going to rate it out of 5 stars, I would give Cellar Dweller 3 out of 5. Your typical average, decent, watchable horror flick, but really not that much to write home about. But then again, not really a terrible movie either. It's just there. It's all right. I would recommend watching the episode of Tales from the Crypt, Corman's Calamity, over this. Though, if you like if you end up liking that episode, then check this out. But I guess it's a must-see for diehard Jeffery Combs fans. You got to see every movie that Jeffery Combs is in. Then all right, check out Cellar Dweller, although he's not in the movie that much. So be prepared for that. But anyway, yeah, thanks for watching my review of Cellar Dweller, and as always, I will see you guys later. See ya.